All right, I want to talk about the soft guy era. Great videos. I want to say thank you to Dating Right. Thank you to the Coffee Pod. Different guys who've made videos are absolutely hilarious, and it's having a huge effect. This is one of those trends that is going to change things ever so slightly, but it's going to change things because essentially, in a nutshell, I'll try to go fast. You can get the idea. Women had a strategy, and that was basically to deny men and to raise their demands. Okay, usually in the sense of money and things like that, comforts. And guys really didn't know how to respond. So guys that were able to pay usually did. Guys who didn't have the money would be angry, and basically life moved on. But now with the internet, a lot of secrets are coming out. Guys are watching these videos and thinking logically, and what that is evolution. So whether it's men evolving for a new threat or new challenge, or women evolving. Women came up with a strategy that gave them more access to wealth and power, prestige, without working. That was a smart thing. That's what humans do. We're always looking for better ways, right? So they had this basically ever-raising demands. The soft guy era is hilarious because guys are saying, they're saying, I demand the same thing. So guys are saying, just to give you an idea, if you guys haven't seen him, guy goes to the store, he's buying some cologne, his girl calls him, she says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm buying some cologne," and then he blocks her. And he goes, "Well, I was buying cologne, and she did not, I looked at my Cash App, there was no money. She did not Cash App me the money. So that means that she did not care about me. And so, I don't have time for that. I'm worth something, right?" And so guys are basically making videos saying what women say. And so it's absolutely hilarious. And I don't, just so you guys know, I don't like people that are too serious. So they see a chance to make a video like condemning somebody, and yeah, you can do that. But it's at the same time, it's lighthearted, guys. It's like life is fun, man. Life is awesome. At the same time as you could poke fun at people, okay? I'm not saying that. And you can appreciate humor. But as is often the case, underneath humor is truth. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about it because I've seen a ton of videos now, soft guy era, and nobody has said the truth. Okay? That's a big statement, but nobody has. A lot of guys are younger making videos, and I'm going to give you what is really going on. Okay. So, as I said, most guys are essentially, overall, recycling women's demands and saying, I demand a $80 beard softener and this and that. And some of them are humorous, and you can tell some of them are serious. Some of them are guys saying, why can't we go, half and half on this? Like what, a lot of it's not just humor, guys. This is a heavy one. This is one you should pay attention to. So, and what's happening, it's having a huge effect on the type of women who make these videos, because they're pissed. They're like super fucking salty, and the videos are just like, and see, the thing is, when you get salty, you let your real self out. That's why I always talk about improving your real self when nobody's looking, is because there's going to be a time in your life when you're challenged, and your real self's going to come out, and it'll be too late to change. That's why you change every day. That's why I change. I'm always looking for ways to improve, because I know that there's no way to cover it up. I'm given an opportunity to change. I either change or don't. Later on, something happens. If I'm in the same boat and have not improved myself, it will come out, and you guys will know, my friends will know, and I will know, most importantly. And then it becomes harder because you start justifying yourself. It's easier to change as soon as you see something. Just go, "Oh, that makes sense. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to change my point of view." That's one of my main messages. That's why I make the videos. One of the big reasons. I wanted you guys to say, "Oh, God, that makes sense." I don't want to go through all the pain, because we all have things, weaknesses, right? Like we lie to ourselves. We all have things that we got to deal with, right? And the best way that you can head it all off at the fucking pass is by hearing something, accepting the truth, and saying, how am I going to change this? How am I going to change this? Okay? So, let's go back to what's going on. Dynamics. So guys are, if you look at it from an overall perspective, what they're essentially saying is they're raising their standards. Okay. Now, of course, some of it's humor, some of it's real, some not. But they're raising their standards. And that in itself is quite alarming to women, because until now, we basically had men who would really, in secret, do whatever women want. And I mean all men. I mean, look at Fresh and Fit. As soon as you get the emails of his communication with girls, you can see that men are very similar. And this is why I don't use the word simp and cuck and all these words. I don't use these words. I don't think they're useful. A lot of guys, and a lot of them are your heroes, in secret, bend the rules, break the rules, don't follow the rules, try to cover up what they're doing. You know what I mean? It gets worse when you're a content creator, because then you have to start lying. See, if you're a regular blue pill guy out there in the real world, you can tell the truth to guys. Like, I was at an event last night. Yesterday, we were raising money for this guy's medical care, making food, meeting all these people. And it was kind of like being back in church in high school, making all this soup and serving it and coffee and everything. And it was hard work, actually. But I was with a bunch of guys that if I said, well, no matter what I said, hey, this is my fiance, I'm getting married, getting divorced, I'm getting married again, it wouldn't matter. Everybody would be like, oh, that's congratulations. I started to hear about divorce, good luck with the next one. These guys would be fine. But when you're a content creator in a red pill space, you got to outright lie. And that's where it gets dark. See, that's why. See, it all comes together. When you have high level friends, you have to raise your level. Okay. Both of honesty and changing. Okay. So let's get into it. So what's really going on is guys are on paper, in public, raising their standards. Now, of course, just so you guys can get my perspective on a lot of these standards are just basically recycling what women say. They want a beard softener. They want a certain shampoo. They want him to pay for a Tesla, her to pay for a Tesla, things like that. And it's all humor. And you can tell the guys are serious, that are serious. Okay. All right. So I got to break this down to demographics, okay? So you guys can really understand what's going on. So let's go with one demographic. Okay, so women, they have the luxury of choice, especially when they're young. And they can have these demands. Now, it changes as they lose their attractiveness, okay? But in the beginning, they can have these crazy demands, like a really hot girl. And I'm the first one to say it. If a girl's really hot and really young, oh man, I'm 59. I'm going to put up with certain things that I wouldn't have put up with when I was 22. Okay? That's the truth. Okay? If you think that's shocking or alarming, basically you're out of your mind, because everybody's human. But there's a big difference with me, is I'm going to tell you guys. That is the biggest difference. And I'm going to explain where, what, why, how, so that you know, so that you don't have to lie to people. Because you're going to break some rules. As you get older, things are going to change. That's all I can say. When you're 20, certain rules apply. You're going to protect your girl no matter what in a fight. When you're 75, it is different. Guys that are 75, things change, okay? Your attractiveness changes, your physical abilities change. And that's what a lot of guys have trouble with. And that's what I try to tell you, like, so you can, as young guys, you can see how your life is now. You can see it from the outside. Because it's like often we don't know what we have till it's gone, right? Like that song. And so I want you to know while you have it. And I also want you to know what you do when you start losing it, okay? There's other options and there's other ways to think. And I don't mean that I act like what you would call a simp. I mean you adjust based on the new reality. You're the same guy. That's the goal. You're a fucking red pill hardcore guy. But now you can no longer do certain things, okay? So how do you adjust so that everything can work out for you? Like, so that you're always King Solomon. That's what you're trying to do. If you can go back in time, you would go back in time, but you can't, right? Okay, so What's key? Transparency is key. Honesty is key. Constantly challenge yourself and improving yourself is key. And not doing what most guys do, and you would do it too probably, odds are high, you would lie. Because you'd realize you have a contradiction to some people. Actually, it's not a contradiction if they knew the whole story, right? And I'll just give you one example. I started a business with a girl I was sleeping with in China. Someone said, that sounds like the dumbest idea ever. It does if you, A, never started a business, B, never lived in China, C, were never down to your last $5,000, okay? From making a lot of money as an entrepreneur before that, okay? So I lost $250,000 on a toy company. I lost some money on a supplement company. I spent money going to school. I went to the third best university in China, studied Chinese. I learned Chinese and then got ripped off on a supplement company by a fucking Australian dude. Never forgive that guy. It was the perfect idea I had. And basically my back was against the wall. I had my last $5,000. I had learned Chinese and I was sitting in Shanghai. And I needed people that would work with me that were smart and work for free for a while and take a percentage. And I had a girlfriend who was a good business person, hard worker, and she was right there. And to be honest, I had no other choice, okay? Sometimes you don't have a choice. You might not want to eat Twinkies, but if you haven't eaten for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and you go to your car and there's a Twinkie in there, guess what? You understand that, right? Okay, understand it all the time. And understand that some people actually tell the truth on YouTube, okay? My goal is to tell the truth at all times so that my words have meaning to you long term. You can go back and watch them and it wasn't all bullshit. You'll be like, I get it. When I wanted to have a child, okay, I suddenly wanted to have a child at about 50 years old or 51. I first thought the idea, and then I started talking about it. MGTOW, when he interviewed me, and we put a video online. Unfortunately, I used the footage he gave me. We did it sitting in a pool, much like I'm sitting in jacuzzi right now. We did it sitting in a pool, and I don't know if it's still up because I think the footage he gave me was from somebody else. I didn't know. And back then, YouTube was pretty new. It was like 7-8 years ago. And so it got taken down, I think. Anyway, it's somewhere. I got that video. And I talked about it. I said, look, I didn't want to give the reason why I hadn't had a child. And I still won't give the reason until a certain person passes away. And I'll tell you my story of my childhood. So I was not having children for a reason. Okay? And because I love kids. And when I realized that was not a good reason to never have children, I realized I wanted to have a kid. I didn't care the risk. I wanted to have a child. And you might find yourself in the same boat. Who do you listen to? Right? So I mentioned it. I thought channel was going to disappear. This is 8 years ago. And people were like, I don't understand, but good luck, And to this day, the thing, obviously, the relationship with the ex went south, but I'm super happy I have a kid. I got a healthy girl. She's going to be 6 years old. I'm super stoked about that. Yeah, I can't wait to meet her when she's 18. I can't meet her until she's 18, but I can't wait, And I love her like nobody else in the world, right? So I'm super happy, even though it didn't work out the way I thought, okay? So anyway, and that's because I followed what I wanted. Okay, I was honest with myself, and I was also honest with you, so I don't have to come back and, people are posting fresh and fit secret emails, and it's like they're not that complimentary given what they're saying online, right? So, do you want to be that guy? And I'm not bagging on fresh and fit guy at all. That's very easy to do. In fact, it's the biggest temptation as a content creator is to cover up certain things. And I tell you, the only way you can be a real leader is if you're honest with things. You don't know how it's going to work out, but you're just fucking honest. And tell the truth. And that's what I'm going to talk about here in this episode. the fucking truth about men's standards. Okay. So, recap, men are basically regurgitating women's demands. That's basically what they're doing. It's funny, but there's a problem. There is a big problem, and the biggest problem, okay? Well, the truth is the problem. Okay, so what? These demands are basically fake that women have, okay? Follow me on this. They're not real. Okay, what are women's real demands then? If buy me a Ferrari, get me some clothes, makeup, or I'm going to hang up on you. If those aren't real, then what is real? The problem with standards, okay, here's the problem, is they're immutable. There's no way to change them. Standards, real standards, are harsh because they go back to your biology. They go back to your reproduction and your deepest, the things that you want for your deepest survival are also the things that make you happy and peaceful in this life. Just because of the way we're built. Logically, you don't need them, but it doesn't matter because you evolved. You're not a robot. You're a human being on planet Earth, and animals are animals on planet Earth, living beings, right? So you need to follow the truth if you want to be happy. You can logic everything away. You can have all the logic you want. Guess what? It's not going to work. That's what we're seeing today. A lot of guys in their head. Get out of your head. Get out of your fucking head and get honest. Okay, so let's get to women's real standards. What are their standards? Money to support the kid. Okay? Let's go back. What's the standard before that? Women have two different standards. Women have a standard to make a kid, and they have another standard to support the kid. Okay, you can like it or you don't like it. Women cannot change this. This is how they're built, just like you're built a certain way. Women want the best DNA possible for their children. That is never going to change. You can say all the bad things you want about women, but it ain't going to change nothing because this is their deepest desire. And if they don't follow that, they're going to regret it and be unhappy. Just like you. Okay? Let women be women. Let them be what they are. Accept the truth. You can logic a girl into not doing what she wants. But guess what? Guess what? She's not going to be happy. Your kid's not going to be raised as good. Things are not going to work out. So, she wants two guys. One for the DNA, right? And another one to support the kid. So, when you hear about women's demands, it is for the support side. But they'd mentioned the DNA side, which is tall, six-pack, muscular, athletic, big dick, all these things. These are things that women want, okay? They want that in the DNA. Why? Because those things are passed down. It's not because they want them. Women aren't logical like we aren't logical. Okay, we want a healthy baby-making machine, essentially. That's the bottom line. No one wants to face that. They want a healthy baby-creating machine. We want an incubation and making machine. They want a sperm donor with the highest quality. Okay? So stop being angry about reality. That's what women want. Every single woman forever. Okay? They need two different people. Okay. Now, let's talk about men's demands. That's what's not being talked about in this whole thing. Okay. And excuse me for telling you what your demands are because some things I'm going to tell you. And the reason why is because you don't have the experience yet. Most guys on this podcast. Most guys have not had 500, 1,000 women. So you don't have the experience to really know really who you are sexually. You're taking what you can get, and that's great. Nothing wrong with that. But it's better if you understand yourself. whether or not you have the experience. You want to understand yourself. So let me tell you a couple things that you probably don't know. Okay, so why do women want a taller guy? They want a taller guy because it makes them feel safe. Okay, a deeper voice. They want a deeper voice. They want a taller guy. They want muscular. They want good sperm. Those are all immutable characteristics. Now, do you think that men and women have nothing in common? Like, she wants these things for your baby, but all you care about is hunting. No. Men want healthy offspring too. Okay? So, she wants tall. Guess what? You know, you're going to say it. Guys want small. Okay? She wants large. You want small. Okay? Now, if you have experience with two women, you're not going to know this. But once you get up over a few hundred women, you're going to start to realize that the little estrogen-filled, younger, higher pitched voice, get something, starting to see some trends here, the things that women want, but the opposite. The mirror is what you want. It's okay to have standards. Okay? And in fact, it is not only okay. Okay, that's just a way to get started, right? It is important for your children to have these standards. Okay? So, what do you want? You, as a guy, want the opposite, basically, of what she wants. You want the same thing in a baby-making machine, but you want tiny. You want high estrogen. You want feminine. You want frail or light. What do you call it? I can't think of the word. Not frail, but delicate. You want delicate. You want little shoulders, cute little back of the neck, tiny little wrists, right? Nice little plump ass. Okay. Young. Okay. So you want, let's just say 22. Okay. You want a 22-year-old girl that has a little bit of meat on her. She's got some boobs. Why is that? Not because of the patriarchy. It's the same reason that she wants tall. It's basically, think of it as a refrigerator. Okay? You want food. And if you want a visual, imagine a child dying of starvation. You don't want that. You want a happy baby, plump, cruising around, exploring the world. You do not want a baby with a big belly who has a frown. You don't want that. So, you want a feminine woman. I hate to tell Western girls this, but, and in fact, I won't. And that's part of my whole philosophy is don't tell people immutable differences that they can't change. But you need to understand that they're important. Okay? You want a feminine woman. It's not just the little, giggling with their hand over their mouth. It's what that means. What that means is high estrogen. Okay? Not only do you want a feminine woman with high estrogen, you want her in her prime, when her estrogen is at its peak. And that's the most likely that she's going to give you a healthy baby that will make everybody happy in the world a better place. Right? So, can women change their height? No. Can women change their shoulder size? No. Can women change their nose size? Not really. Not really. Right? Can they change their ankle size? No. Can they change their wrist size? No. Can they change the back of their neck, the nape of their neck? What the Japanese consider the most feminine, which is what the kimono reveals, the nape of the neck. That's considered the most erotic part of a kimono. Is a woman with a a willowy, thin, beautiful, feminine, delicate, in the perfect prime of her life neck. And you just want to grab that and you want to make a baby and she wants a baby and everything's fucking good, my friend. And the baby's going to come out bouncing. Odds are high. Okay? So, the funny part about guys' standards is that guys are basically saying what women say. But I'm going to caution against that. You can watch my video about sugar babies, sugar mamas, and this is being touched upon now, this part. Guys are saying, there are certain guys out there who live off of women. And I'm going to tell you very quickly my experience when I had too many women, where I had to be very selective. I got to the point where I realized some women would pay for stuff, right? Some women, you meet them, they wouldn't have any money. We would just walk around, maybe have sex at a park, maybe have sex in a car, maybe have sex in a bathroom, maybe have sex in my house, maybe stop by her house. But it was kind of the same thing every time. And then we would have an inexpensive, a bowl of ramen or some kind of food, right? They used to have these great all-you-can-eat Indian places, which were basically 1,000 yen, just nothing. And so we kind of did the same thing. Then all of a sudden I started having these wealthy women, and they were different. I remember when I was out with Aiko, she was like, "Where do you want to go?" And I'm like, she was super rich. And I said, "Well, let's go to a club." And I didn't usually go because it was $50 to get in. She paid, we went in, no big deal. "Where do you want to go next?" "Oh, let's go there." "Yeah." "Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's go to China. Let's go here." She didn't care. She was totally fine. And I realized that having a quote-unquote sugar mama was interesting. It freed me from some of the dogma that I had in my mind. Like, for one thing, I thought all women wanted money. Not the ones with money don't. So I thought I kind of found the holy grail for a while, and I got a bunch of rich girls. Then I realized that it wasn't the answer. And that's why I don't make a follow-up to the sugar mom. I wanted to make one. It's the only video I know when it was made, probably still today, that was in the world, teaches guys how to get a sugar mama. Everything is in there. Everything you need. If you're capable of doing it, it's in there. If you're not capable, then it's not in there because there's no way to fake it. Very hard, very high, low percentage of guys can do it. And in certain age too. Don't try to have sugar mama when you're 35. You want to start young. Okay, but anyway, I don't think it's the answer. I think it's good that you know. I think it's good you understand. Okay? So I put it out there. You watch carefully what I do. I don't keep going on it. I could. That video gets the most views. I could easily just keep going on that. You guys would love it. Guys would love it. Guys would forward. I have more to say. But I don't think it's the best path for you. That's why I don't go into too much. I think it's good to know about. I think it's good to try. But if it doesn't work, or once you're successful, you'll realize it's not the answer. It will not make you happy. Okay, so what's next? Men want short. Where do you find feminine, smaller women that you have access to that are not your age? They're younger than you. Other countries. The average guy. Now, if you're Drake, you're going to have an option like that in the US, in Hollywood. But most guys do not. So if you don't, what should you do? You should go somewhere where your value is higher and you will have more options and you will start to be able to get what I'm talking about. The feminine, the smaller, the cuter, the demure, the more delicate boned. Okay, so what happens? Okay, let's get deeper into it. Because your need for this is deep, guys. This is no joke. This will make you happy. I swear to God. Having, for the first time, a young, beautiful, feminine, demure girl is going to just be so invigorating for you. And in fact, once you experience something that will touch your deepest soul, once you do that, you will have, I don't want to say superpowers, But you will. Because why? The reason is because, okay, you will have a new option. Okay, so for example, if you're faced with large, unattractive women, before you felt like there's nothing else, I have to conform. Just like a guy in prison will agree to have sex with another man because he has no other options. And he realizes that. And he's like, okay, there's nothing. I'm in here for life. I got two choices, no sex or sex. And guys choose sex, right? So maybe they're thinking about women doing their thing, but whatever, most guys are going to choose that actually. And you're going to choose it if you think you don't have any other option. But as soon as you do, as soon as you realize somewhere in the world, you can get what you always dreamed of. And even things you didn't even know you needed. And when you get them, you're like, oh my God, these are even more important. You know what I mean? You're like, fuck, this is amazing. It will make you feel like a man, the man that you are inside yourself. You will grow into a confident man. It will change you. Trust me. Even if you only experience it for 1 week, you'll never be the same. You will never be the same. I'm telling you. You think because you're older, you won't? Oh, you're going to change the most. Because young guys are used to new things happening. And they're like, oh, okay, I didn't think it was going to happen, but this is great, Whereas older guys are more shocked that they can get this. And what it makes them feel. Okay. Because when you're talking about women, it's how you feel. It's not physical. It's how you feel. All those evolutionary traits are rewarded by pleasure glands in order to put you on the track to doing things that are good for the human race. But again, that doesn't matter long term. What matters is that you will feel good when you do something that's evolutionary good for yourself. So, knowing you have the option changes everything. Why is that? Why is that so deep? Why? This is why I'm saying, okay, just spoiler alert, come to an Asian summit, okay? Just come once. Just come. I'll put you in the right place. I will put you on your way. I will you see the dad teaching the son to surf. He gets him on the wave. He gets him on the right wave with his board. And then he gets him standing up. And then he just gently pushes him so the guy can surf the first day. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. So that you will be right there experiencing something. You won't have to you'll still have to go learning curve later if you decide to come back or whatever. But you'll at least be there and experiencing. Okay. Why is that so important? It's so important to think about it this way. Let's say that there's 2 doors in your house and you go to open one door and it doesn't open. It's stuck. There was an earthquake, the earth shifted, and the door will not open. So then you go out the other door, you go from the other side, try to pull it. Why are you not super stressed? Because the door still opens. Okay, you can go outside. Now, what would happen if you were in a basement and the door didn't open? It would be a totally different situation, right? That's how you are now with women, is you don't have options. So you don't even know, you don't even feel like you have the right to, or you don't even want to go there. Dreaming of things that are awesome. You're just like, hey, I'm just getting by here. You know what I mean? I don't want to be more disappointed than I already am. You know what I mean? Don't tell me things. They're going to maybe they're true, but I don't want to fucking hear them, right? So you're not even open. And there's a good reason. It's to protect yourself. But once you realize that you have options, okay, which is what coming to an Asian summit will do for you, you will forever be different because you'll be like, well, anytime I want to, I can go to this place or that place. And you're going to understand what that means at that point. See, when you read about passport bros or people going overseas, you don't really understand what that means. And guys are not very good at explaining it. But there is some deep happiness that comes with being with a female that is in the prime of her youth and has the immutable characteristics that you didn't even know you wanted, But once you have them, you'll be like, oh my God, like this is amazing. The biggest danger is that you make stupid decisions, but that's okay. That is okay. You're going to learn. You're going to learn. Smart guys will always pull it off somehow. Don't hide from the truth because you're afraid of making a mistake, okay? Don't be afraid. Don't be so afraid. I'm never going to drive. I might hit somebody. It's like, no, drive. Yeah. Go be with, have experiences that, as a man, we don't have much that makes us happy. I find happiness in friends and throwing rocks and swimming and like using my body in certain ways. I just really find deep enjoyment. And it's just something that never changed since I was a kid. And same with physical and these deeper needs of man. I don't need them all the time. You don't need to throw rocks every day. Just know that, I get out there and there's a bunch of rocks and we're in the desert and I start chucking rocks and I feel great. I have fun. I can do that all day some days. And you guys that come to summits, you know that. Because it makes me happy. It makes me freaking happy, right? So, what this whole thing should do for you, this soft guy era, is laugh about it, but realize that most of your, let's say, standards are probably not something she can do. Okay? Let me explain. Okay, so you have two women. One is very high testosterone. In relative, we all have both. Okay, it's not like you don't have one or the other, but one is high testosterone and the other one is high estrogen. What's different? Okay, what's different? Well, obviously, one is going to be more muscular, testosterone. One is going to have a deeper voice. One is going to have larger shoulders. One is going to be taller. One is going to have fatter ankles. One is going to be hairier. One is going to be larger, okay? Less tight, okay? One is going to have, let's look at the face now, a square face, a masculine face. And that's because of the testosterone. And one of them is going to have a larger jaw. That's testosterone. One of them is going to have more hair. Think ear hair. Ear hair, underarm hair, hair in the crotch, hair on the legs. Now modern women will shave it off, but it's not the same, as you guys know. When you feel a smooth part of your, let's say, stomach where there's no hair, and then you feel your leg, it feels totally differently, right? If you shave your leg, it doesn't become like your stomach, okay? So women are the same way. So now let's go with a high estrogen. High estrogen is going to have a squeaky voice. She is going to be illogical. She is going to not like to read maps or even be good at reading maps. She is going to pout. Okay. The high testosterone is going to physically fight. The more feminine one is going to pout. Her face is going to turn red easier and shy. She is going to feel in your arms. It's going to feel like a match made in heaven. She'll feel so tiny and so beautiful. And the same beautiful way that you as a taller man will feel to her. There's no difference. Women, they're going to say, oh, he wants you. You want old. You want big. We want what you want. Okay? Men want the same thing. It's just that it's a different person that's going to give that same thing. So, obviously, you got a square peg and a round hole. Too round, don't fit. It doesn't fit in there. Too square doesn't fit. Right? Wait, no, what am I saying? I'm backwards. A round peg fits in a round hole. Square peg fits in a square hole. The other one doesn't, right? So, if you're looking for the feeling that she wants, actually the same feeling you want. It's just that it's going to be a different person. Okay, so what is going to make her feel that is a certain type of guy, and what's going to make you feel that is a certain type of girl. Now, I've found that maybe it's because of a lot of things. Maybe it's because of processed foods, is that processed foods cause hormonal imbalances. They call endocrine imbalance. Everything gets fucked up. I find that Asia affords me the chance to be with healthy, bubbly, giggling, high-pitched, anime voice cutie pies. And those cutie pies really appreciate me. They love to be in my arms. You see them fall asleep in my arms. They feel safe in my arms. And guess what? What do I feel? I feel great. It just feels great. It feels great when you look down and your woman is just a kitten. She's just cuddling. You know, if it's after sex, it's because she's more satiated. She's experienced orgasms. She's spent. She's pleased. Her body's saying yes, yes, yes. She's smiling. She feels safe. Everything works. Now, from your perspective, what's different? A lot of things are different. One is how she feels affects you as a man. That's why a lot of porn is not about the woman's body. It's focusing on her face. Because her enjoyment causes you enjoyment as a man. That's how we're built. We're actually built like that. So when you see and feel and hear pleasure from the other side, you will feel better. And then it will, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a, what do you call it? Not that. It leads to more. So in other words, if she is large, hairy, smelly, deep voice, difficult to arouse, dry, and unhappy because she is not feeling that you are protecting her, right? Naturally, you're not the guy to protect her. Don't get over it. You're not the guy. You're not making her feel safe. That's right. Get over it. You can't. She needs something else, and you want something else, right? So, how are you going to feel? You're just constantly. It's like Woody Allen talks about. It's your tongue just gonna fall out of your mouth trying to please her, and you'll always feel like it's not working because it isn't. Why is it not working? Biology. So, your number one standard should be biology. Now, do you tell women this? Do not tell women this. Why? Because you want to keep it a secret? No. You don't want to make them feel terrible. I mean, that's not what we're here for. You know what I mean? Like there is no reason to put people down. There's no reason if you interview for 4 jobs. There's no reason to go back to the first job and say, "You guys are fucking idiots. I hate you guys." Right? You know that, right? You just say, "Oh, thank you very much," and I decided to take another offer, but I really appreciate your time, right? Because there's no point in being a prick. Why would you do that? What is wrong with you? Don't do that. Don't make women feel bad. But, and here's the thing, it's an iron fist and what Ronin is teaching you is an iron fist and a velvet glove. So on the outside, you're smooth. Hey, you're lovely. I love you, but right now I'm not ready for a relationship, whatever. And then, inside your mind, you're not worried because you're like, you don't have to compromise because you can get the things that will make you happy and you can provide the things that will make somebody else happy. So you're like, no, this is not a good fit for either one of us. So I'm going to pass on this. Now, let's look at it in an aggregate. Okay, so in aggregate, there's always exceptions, but in aggregate, Western chicks are masculine. They have very high testosterone compared to Asian chicks. They just do. Check the numbers. Okay? Now, there are Asian chicks with high testosterone. There's no question. There is no fucking question. I've been there long enough to know. This is not a rule. There are definitely exceptions. It's a rule, but it's not. There's plenty of exceptions. I've had white girls that are just so feminine, so tiny, with tiny little waists, tiny little fucking shoulders, and cute, and really nice hair, and feminine. But they're very rare, actually. So you now know what it's really about, the soft guy era. It's really about understanding yourself and understanding other people. It's not about, copying someone else's this and that. This is just, it's a learning thing. When you're learning something, you are clumsy. Okay, your real standards as a man are pretty simple. But you just like a guy in jail, you feel like you haven't been able to have the audacity to even think about it. But I'm promising something big here. Come to an Asian Summit. I will open your eyes. And once your eyes are open, it will bring a peace to you. Because you'll know. You'll be like, I love a feminine girl. Like I just love it. And you'll come home and you won't be. It's the opposite of what people think. When you find happiness, it makes you a nicer person because you're not unhappy. I've said this many times, but the reason why thieves don't bother me is because I have become very good at not being ripped off. So it's like, yeah, they got to do their thing, right? They're out there being thieves. Doesn't affect me emotionally. What affects me is if somebody scams me, then all of a sudden I'm all emotional, right? Because I got scammed. Right? I had to learn something. There was something there that I didn't know, was avoiding, whatever. If something inevitable happens, I'm okay with that too. Just like humans are okay with earthquakes. We are not as sad as if you accidentally, ran over one of your friends in a car, you would feel forever terrible about yourself until the day you died, as if it was negligence. Whereas if your friend died in an earthquake or fire that, consumed all of the outback, you feel terrible, but there's a sense where you feel like, we're all gonna, you know what I mean? Like life is not perfect, right? So even the same outcome is different depending on how we feel about it. Okay? So don't raise your standards, guys. That's what guys are going to say, raise your standards. No. Don't copy these TikToks. What you want to do is think about what I'm saying. And what you really want is a wet, tight, manga voice, giggling, in love with you, beautiful silky hair. You feel her shoulders, are these feminine shoulders. You feel them, they're just beautiful. And you feel her little hands just grabbing your back. And I'm not talking. People always do this. They're always trying to say, they're always trying to paint you in a terrible light. This is the same feeling that you have, women. You put your arms around a guy, or you want to, in a romance novel, and you feel strong. You feel safe because he's strong. He is bringing you places that other men can't bring you. And we are that guy, actually. We want the same thing. We are the same on that, actually. Because this is not the logic. This is the illogic. I can give you that. I've given many women that. So we're actually the same. People that are in touch with their sensuality and sexuality. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing broken in you. You don't need to fear yourself. You need to discipline yourself and watch yourself. And you need to know there's certain lines you don't want to cross, of course. But being in touch with your sensuality and your sense of touch and smell. Smell's another huge one. High testosterone smells. Girls that are very feminine, man, I tell you something, they smell great. Especially when they're like 22, they smell so fucking good. Oh my God. You'll just smell their hair and you'll be like, oh my God, it just smells so good. and you smell their underarms, you're like, just the natural smell of her. It's just, oh my God, it's wonderful. A woman with her endocrines all fucked up, her hormones all fucked up, taking depression pills, overweight, hairy, large, angry, emotions all bottled up. It's a totally different smell. There is a beautiful smell. Women should have a beautiful smell about them, where you breathe it in. And it's like a smell of a rose. Smell of wine, smell of coffee in the morning, smell of bread baking, smell of a young, beautiful woman. I'm telling you, it is really something. It can be a bit of an acquired taste, but as you mature, you will fucking love it, man. You'll be hungry. You will be fucking hungry, and that hunger is what you want, man, as a man. That real feeling. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about things you see, man. You feel like a man, and you fuck like a man, and you hear a woman being a woman, and it'll be something you'll never forget. A beautiful thing for you and her. All right, so see your standards, guys. Don't raise your standards. See. Those guys raising their standards, they're going down the wrong road. I'll just end on this. Because they're going down the sugar mama road. And that is not the road I'm talking about, where you really feel like a man and happy. Yeah, you can do it. I had women buy me. I had a woman buy me a racing motorcycle, brand new Aprilia RS250. I had women give me money. I had everything. That's why I made the fucking sugar mama video. My videos are real, bro. I tried it, and I realized it didn't make me happy. I don't think that's the road. Men especially. Women can kind of compromise with money. Men, no. You'll always know you're not a man. Go down the road of manhood. It will get you through any difficulty. It's all inside you guys. Thank you for listening.